students. In last class we studied how to find adjoint of a square matrix and how to find inverse of non-singular square matrix. Today I am going to teach theorems on adjoint of a and inverse of a square matrix. First theorem. For every square matrix of A of order n, we have to do A into adjoint A equal to adjoint A equal to det A into IN. Okay, so for that I am going to prove this theorem. So here we have to prove for n order matrix. For the simplicity, for the sake of convenience, for the simplicity, I am taking n equal to 3. That means I am proving this theorem for 3 by 3 matrix. So let me consider a 3 by 3 matrix. Let A equal to n. Let A equal to, I am taking 3 by 3 matrix. A11, A12, A13, A21, A22, A23, A31, A32, A3. Okay. Here what I am doing, I am proving this theorem for 3 by 3 matrix. Okay. Right. Now I need adjoint A also. How to find adjoint A? By taking the transpose of cofactor matrix. So first I will write cofactor matrix. What is cofactor matrix? First element will be replaced by its cofactor. Capital A11, A12, A13, A21, A22, A23, A31, A32, A33. This is cofactor matrix. I am taking the transpose of this matrix. So by transposing it, you will get A11, A12, and interchanging this row as column, and A13. Second row I am writing as column A21, A22, A23, A31, A32, A33. Okay, now I got adjoint of a square matrix. Now I will find the product of A and adjoint A into adjoint A. See here, when I am finding the product of A and adjoint A, we will get the elements like this: A into adjoint A. So first A matrix, next adjoint A matrix. How to find the multiplication? First row into first column. So first element will be A11, capital A11, plus A12, capital A12, plus A13 into capital A13. This is first element. Second element, how to get? First row into second column. A11, A21, A12, A22, A13, A23. Next third element, A11, A31, A11, A31, A12, A32, A13, A33. Okay, similarly here, second row into first column, A21, A11, A22, A12, A23, A13, A21, A21, A22, A22, A23, A23, A21, A31, A22, A32, A23, A33. Now here, last row into first column, A31, A11, A32, A12, A33, A13, A31, A21, A32, A22, A33, A23, and last element A31, capital A31, A32, capital A32, A33, capital A33. So we know that the sum of product of elements and its corresponding cofactors will give the determinant. Otherwise, the sum will be 0. So here see A11 and its cofactor plus A12 and its corresponding cofactor. So this sum will give determinant A. So in place of this I am replacing by data. And observe the second element. Here A11 and it is not a cofactor of A11. It is cofactor of A21 element. So this sum will give 0. Okay, understand? Sum of product of elements and its corresponding cofactors always give the determinant. So here element and its corresponding cofactor in first element. So I am writing determinant A. But in second element, observe here element A11, but it is not its corresponding cofactor. So this sum will give 0. Here also A11 and it is not corresponding cofactor. So this sum also will give 0. Here also A21, A11 not corresponding cofactors, so 0. But in second row, second element, A21 corresponding cofactor. So this will give determinant A. And here 0. This is 0. This is 0. And here also why? Because A31, A31. A32, capital A32. So this will give determinant A. Okay. So let me take capital determinant A common. By taking determinant A common, you will get 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1. So that equal to this will be determinant A into I3. Right. Similarly, we can prove that adjoint A into det A is also det A into I3. So therefore, the given statement is, therefore given statement is true for n equal to 2. That implies the statement is, therefore it is true for all n. That implies you can write A into adjoint A equal to adjoint A into A is equal to, you can write det A into I. This is first theorem on adjoint of a square matrix. Okay, let me do one more theorem. One more theorem on square matrix. Theorem, second theorem. Theorem 2. Second theorem on inverse of a square matrix. Okay. Let capital A be a square matrix. Square matrix of order n. Then A inverse exists. A inverse exists if and only if A is non-singular. Okay, what is theorem statement 2? Theorem statement: let A be a square matrix of order n. Then A inverse exists if and only if A is non-singular. That means when this square matrix, if the square matrix having a inverse, then we have to prove that A is non-singular matrix. And conversely, if A is non-singular, then we prove that A inverse exists. Okay. Right. So first case I am taking proof. In proof I am taking a square matrix. Let A be a S n by square matrix of order n. So, if in first case I am taking that if A inverse exists, if A inverse exists, we prove that A is non-singular. Okay, if A inverse exists. So we know that if A inverse is the inverse of A, then A into A inverse equal to A inverse into A is equal to always In. Why this In? Why? Because A is a n by n matrix. A inverse is the inverse of A. So product of A and A inverse always In. So I am taking determinant on both sides. I am applying determinant on both sides. A into A inverse is equal to det of A inverse into A is equal to det of In. So det A into det of A inverse equal to det A inverse into det A is equal to det of identity matrix is always 1. Okay, see here, det of A and det of A inverse, or det of A inverse into det A is always 1 means here we can write det of a matrix is not equal to 0. If det A is 0, then this product will be always 0. But here what we have 1. So det of A should not be equal to 0. That means det A is not equal to 0. If det A not equal to 0, then we know that A is known as non-singular matrix. Non-singular matrix. Okay, right. Now I am taking converse part. Now I am taking converse. What is converse part? If A is non-singular, then we prove that A inverse exists. Okay, so I am taking A as A be a non-singular square matrix. Non-singular square matrix. Okay, if A is non-singular matrix, what we have to prove? A inverse exists. So for that I am taking A be a non-singular matrix. We know that if A is a non-singular matrix, if A is a square matrix, we know that A into, already we prove that A into adjoint A is equal to adjoint A into A is equal to det A into In. Already we proved this theorem, right? So I am using the statement of that theorem. A into adjoint A equal to det A into In. So here I am dividing by det A, dividing this relation by this equation by det A. So what you will get? A into adjoint A by det A is equal to adjoint A by det A into A equal to det A In by det A. Det A cancel here. So here we are getting A into adjoint A by det A adjoint A by det A into A is equal to IN. So A is given square matrix and adjoint A by det A is another matrix. So I will consider here, this adjoint A, this total matrix adjoint A by det A as some another matrix capital B. In place of this I am keeping B. So you will get this relation A into B is equal to B into A is equal to IN. So A is given square matrix and B is adjoint A by det A. But A into B we are getting identity matrix. That means B is the inverse of A. Right? Here B. What is B? Adjoint A by det A is the inverse of. Okay. So how we got this inverse of A? When A is non-singular matrix, then we can divide by det A. Why? Because det A is non-zero element, so we can divide on both sides. By dividing by det A cancel, we will get A into some other matrix into A equal to identity matrix. That means if A is multiplied by another matrix, when you are getting identity matrix, that matrix is said to be inverse of A. So here this matrix I am taking here B. So B is the inverse of A. So for any non-singular matrix, definitely there exists a inverse. So this is the theorem. Next theorem. Theorem number 3. Let A be a square matrix of order n. There exists a square matrix capital B of order n such that A into B into A is equal to IN. Okay, IN. Here we have to prove inverse of a square matrix is unique. Here we have to prove inverse of a square matrix is unique. Right? What the proof is? Actually, this is the definition of inverse matrix. The theorem statement is, I will write once again theorem statement here. This is the definition of inverse. Theorem statement. I will write theorem statement. If a square matrix has inverse, if a square matrix has an inverse, inverse, then it is unique. Then it is unique. Okay. So what we have to do, if a square matrix has inverse, we have to prove it is unique, right? Proof. I am taking one square matrix. Let capital A be a square matrix. Matrix of order n, such that, how I am taking that square matrix, such that it exists inverse. So I am taking a square matrix such that it exists inverse. Okay, let there will be two inverses. There will be two inverses. Inverses B and C. So here we are going to prove that the inverse is unique. But if there exists two inverses, B and C both are inverses of A, then we have to prove that these B and C are not two different matrices, they are equal matrices. B is also inverse of A, C is also inverse of A. But here we are proving that the inverse is unique. So here I am considering B and C are both are inverses of A, but finally we have to prove these B and C are not different, they are equal. So here B is inverse of A. So if B is inverse of A, then we can write A into B equal to B into A is equal to In, right? Why? Because B is the inverse of A. If C is inverse of A, then we can write A into C into A equal to I. Okay, both are exist. Both are equal. Why? Because B is inverse of C is also inverse of A, right? So here I am going to prove that these B and C two matrices are equal. Why? Because we are proving that inverse is unique. So I am writing C matrix as C into In. Nothing will happen. Here C matrix we are multiplying with identity matrix, so nothing will happen. So in place of In, we can write AB or BA. So I am writing AB from 1. Okay, by associative property we can interchange the brackets CA into B. In place of CA again we can write In into B. So In into B is B. So C into B, In into B. So finally we have proved that C and B are equal. So therefore here we can write inverse of a square matrix is always unique. Okay, right. Let us do another theorem. Theorem number 4. Theorem 4. So in this theorem, if A is non-singular means what? The determinant is not equal to 0. Then we prove that first one, det of A inverse is equal to 1 by det A. Second one, A inverse whole transpose is equal to A transpose whole inverse. Third one, lambda into A whole transpose whole inverse is equal to 1 by lambda into A inverse, where lambda is non-zero scalar, right? Now I am proving first one. What is given? Capital A is non-singular matrix. What is non-singular matrix? If A is non-singular matrix, we know that delta is not equal to 0. If delta is not equal to 0, inverse exists. Inverse of A exists. It is denoted by A inverse. Okay, that implies we can write A into A inverse into A equal to IN. So I am applying data on both sides. A into A inverse, data of A inverse into A equal to data of IN. That implies data into data inverse. I am taking only this relation here. Okay, let me expand this. A inverse into data. IN determinant is 1. So I am taking this relationship. Det A into det A inverse is equal to 1. So det of A inverse equal to 1 by det A. This is proof 1. Okay. Right. Next theorem. Second one. So we have A into A inverse equal to A inverse into A is equal to IN. I am taking transpose on both sides. So A into A inverse whole transpose is equal to A inverse into A whole transpose is equal to IN whole transpose. Right? By using the reversal law of transpose. Using law of transpose. Using law of transpose, you will get here for the first one A inverse whole transpose into A transpose is equal to A transpose into A inverse whole transpose is equal to IN transpose IN. Here we can observe that A inverse into A transpose, right? A transpose into A inverse equal to IN. If you consider A transpose as a matrix, this matrix into another matrix is equal to identity matrix, means this matrix is inverse of A transpose. That implies we can write that A transpose inverse is A inverse transpose. Understand? If you consider this A transpose as a matrix, this matrix into another matrix equal to identity matrix, means this another matrix will be the inverse of this matrix. So A transpose inverse is A inverse whole transpose. Okay. Next, the third one. Let me prove third one. So to prove this, I am multiplying. To prove this third one, I am multiplying lambda A into 1 by lambda into A inverse. 1 by lambda into A inverse. What you will get? Lambda and 1 by lambda is a scalar, so you will get lambda into 1 by lambda into A inverse. Lambda cancel, so A into A inverse, that equal to identity matrix IN. Similarly, if I find the product of 1 by lambda into A, again you will get 1 by lambda into A inverse into the lambda cancel, you will get A inverse into A, that will be identity matrix IL. Okay, right here, see here, we got lambda A into 1 by lambda A inverse is equal to 1 by lambda into A inverse into lambda into A, we got IL. Again, by inverse property, consider this is a matrix. This matrix into another matrix equal to identity matrix, means this another matrix will be the inverse of this matrix. So we can write lambda A whole inverse, lambda A whole inverse. This is the matrix. Its inverse is equal to 1 by lambda A inverse. Okay. These four theorems are important. Okay. I will give some few problems. Exercise 1.1. Exercise 1.1. Last bit. Find the adjoint of the following matrices. First matrix is -3, 4, 6, 2. Second problem is 2, 3, 1, 3, 4, 3, 4, 1, 3, 7, 2. Third one, 1 by 3, 2, 2, 1, -2, 1, 2, 1, -2. So these three problems homework. So solve these three problems, and after getting the solution, send solution pics to me. Okay. And in next class I will explain one more topic on this adjoint of matrix from this exercise only. In next class we have to do the problem.